out to the supporters of channel member Alan Todd. I'm not really worried about getting sacked just yet, but we haven't won in 8 matches, and I just asked for a new coaching course, and the board said, no, your recent results have been rubbish. Definitely not. We're not I think their words were, we're not accepting any requests at the moment. They might be losing patience. Hello and welcome to part 36 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 must-win games in the National League. We're at home against Woking, away against Spennymoor, and since you were last with me, we have had the most miserable September in history. And bearing in mind, I used to be a teacher, I know something about miserable Septembers. This is the worst one I've ever experienced. It's not even that we've been really rubbish and losing constantly. It's the vast majority, certainly the draws. Most of these, we were ahead on XG. We seemed like we were playing quite well. We've just lost the ability to score goals. And I don't know how much longer I persist with the 4-4-2 for. I'm trying to give it time to bed in and get the team cohesion up, but the club atmosphere is dropping faster than the team cohesion is increasing. We have finally got Colvin step up to become a team leader. The only problem is, he's not really playing the way he's played the last couple of years. He's not the same Ryan Colvin. I don't necessarily want him to be a team leader. It's all going wrong. I think if we don't win this next game, a home game against Woking are just slightly above us. We can actually go above Woking if we beat them. I mean, the good news is we're still only 5 points outside of the playoffs. It is still possible to turn this season around, but we are nearly at the halfway point. I think if we don't win this game, that's 9 league games without a win. I think we go back to the 4-2-3-1, tail between legs, and accept that this 4-4-2 is not working, and we should go back to the system that had us top of the league for most of last year. The problem we've got, if you were to look at our form and our points total for the last 12 months, we're almost a year now from when form started to go bad. If we have a look at last season, our form dropped off. At the start of November, it started to go, and by December, it was gone, and our form was trash. So it's at least 11 months now of just terrible form. I am a little bit surprised that we're not discussing potentially sacking me. I think the one thing saving me at the moment is that the board are only looking for mid-table, despite us losing in the playoff final last year. I think in real life, they'd probably be looking for something a little more than that. But I am down to a C+ on how impressed they are with the management of the team. I think the fact we're well within the wage budget helps. The fact that we're meeting the club culture helps. But this season is not going to plan. This is the team that we're going to put out there to try and save my job, save the season, get back into some kind of promotion race. We're going with Marshall in goal. Yeah, Marshall's back in goal. We've given up on the Sam Blair experiment for now. So Marshall's back in goal. A back four of McFadden, Williams, Colvin and Dixon Bonner. Norris, Magoma, Johnson and Davidson in midfield. And then Knowles and McKiernan up front. I am no closer to knowing what my best 11 is now than I was 17 matches ago. And I think that is a big part of the problem. I mean, look, 6 changes from the last game. I know we're playing a lot of matches. I know we're having to rotate a lot because we're stuck in this Wednesday, Saturday nonsense. And we're one of less than half a dozen of part-time clubs having to do it. And that is a big problem. I think fitness-wise, we are really struggling. I mean, look at the state of Okoflex and Price and various other players who are just still shattered from the last game. But it's no excuse for how rubbish we've been. None of that is any different from where we were last year, and we were top of the league at this point last year. And 2 minutes into this match, we're 1-0 down. And I think if I was a Leamington fan in this situation, I mean, for a start, it doesn't look like there's very many here. But I think at that point, I don't know, is this the day you start booing? 1-0 down after 2 minutes, not one forever. We're actually closer to the relegation zone than we are the playoffs. We're talking about how we're only 5 points outside of the playoffs, which is nice. We're only 2 points above the relegation zone. This could be a big problem. Magoma with the corner. Colvin is there, team leader and captain today because Livermore's not in the side. Team leader and captain Ryan Colvin trying to get the header towards goal, but unfortunately it's straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. And I mean, it's a little while now since the major patch came out for FM22. I think it's fair to say that the nerfing of the corners has been a bit of a problem, because we're not scoring from set pieces anywhere near as frequently as we were before. We're still getting them, but we're not getting them as frequently. And I think it's kind of exposed the fact, I mean, something I've known all along. I've been moaning about it for 4 or 5 seasons. The fact that we don't have a consistent, prolific goal scorer. Andrucci is great when he's great, and he goes missing for 5 games, and then he'll get a hat-trick. And it's so frustrating. Davidson's got the chance to grab an equaliser from a penalty here, and he scores. That could be a big moment for us. But anyone who watched my Nuneaton series, however many years ago it was now, and remembers Ashley Chambers, we had the exact same thing with Nuneaton, with Ashley Chambers in that Nuneaton series. I think that was the longest it ever took me to get out of non-league. This might be level with that now. It was either 5 or 6 years it took us to get Nuneaton out of the non-league, from starting in the National League North. And the thing that eventually got us the promotion is that despite Ashley Chambers being our top goal scorer for 3 years in a row, getting 20, 25, 30 goals a season, we binned him off because he scored his goals in exactly the same way Andrucci scores his. He'd get consecutive hat-tricks and then not score for 10 games. And then he'd be fantastic again and then disappear for 5 games. And it padded his stats. So his goals per game looked fantastic. But if you actually looked at his average rating and looked at his form, far more often than not, he was just a passenger. And it was getting rid of him and getting someone who was more of a consistent goal threat, maybe scored fewer goals overall, but they were more evenly spread. There was more match-winning moments from them. I think that's the key thing. It's all well and good beating Port Vale 7-1 like we did in the playoff semi-final. But if you then can't score at all in the next match, what was the point? You end up not getting promoted. Rant over. That's why Andrucci's not in the team. But Knowles and McKiernan aren't any better. Although, I don't know. Look how much better than Woking we've played today. The fault has got to be with the strikers when we've got an XG like that and we're not scoring. Another example of a corner, Colvin getting the header, but it going straight into the hands of the goalkeeper again. And we'll score one eventually. I'd like to think we'll score one today. That would be very nice. But we are, I mean, if XG is to be believed, we're absolutely dominating this match. We seem to certainly be having the best of the highlights. I mean, let's look. Should we have a look at the match? Let's have a look at the match stats. We can't from this screen. In fact, we can. We can go match stats. So we've had more shots on target, massively more XG. We've had we've had more clear-cut chances. Possession's been equal. We've had those 2 corners that we've seen. Our pass completion's better. We're not winning tackles. That's a bit of a problem. But we're better in the air. Average rating slightly worse than theirs. It's baffling. I don't know. XG, very misleading. And now Woking are going to come and grab their second goal. In fact, they're not, because Williams in with some excellent defending. And now Marshall looks like he's teeing up for a Marshall lump. Here he goes. That's not the best lump he's ever done, but it looks like it's worked. McKiernan gives his defender the slip. McKiernan is in. And once again, we get a good chance and absolutely squander it. Oh my word. If you're in any kind of form, they're the kind of chances that you score. And we're just not scoring them. And it's been the story of our season so far. Oh my goodness me. Right. We're going to get Rhodes on at right back. We're going to get McAneff on the left wing. And we are going to get Andrucci on up front. And it's going to be McKiernan who comes off. After that miss, he has to come off. And I think we have to go attacking. We've got to try and win our home games. We've just got to try and win a game. We built the success we've had at this football club over the last several years. We built that on being unbeaten at home for nearly 2 years and on a solid defence. We've still got a relatively solid defence, I think. We don't concede a massive amount of goals. We can't score at all. But I don't remember the last time we won a game at all, but I don't remember the last time we won a home game. Ever since that first home defeat, we've really struggled in our home matches. So we need to get back to winning ways at home, and we need to do it today. We've got 10 minutes. Let's have the ball off of this slot and go and grab a goal. I mean, I thought we'd done an own goal there. That might have been the second walkout of the series if that had actually counted. Luckily, the whistle had already gone, which I didn't hear because we don't have the sound on. Right, McFadden can't get his header clear, but it's in the hands of Marshall, who now just lump it up the other end. Andrucci's on now. Maybe he'll score. Nowhere near our player there. Oh, it's painful. It's genuinely painful. I don't know what to do. I think we go back to the 4-2-3-1 in the next match. Unless we score a winner here, I think we go back to the 4-2-3-1 and see what happens. Low Andrucci is in with the ball over the top, and now Andrucci hits it straight at the goalkeeper. Look at the state of our XG compared to theirs. I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but like I said in the intro, this has been the story of so many of these matches that we're not winning. It feels like as soon as we get a win, we're going to go on a run because we're actually quite a good team. We're just not able to prove it. Andrucci finally scores. A 7th goal of the season for Andrucci in the 92nd minute. The crowd go wild. That might be the moment that we start to turn this season around. And I know I think I said something very similar in the last episode, but that was for an equaliser. This is a late winner, hopefully. Lovely finish from Andrucci. And now we just need to hold on. It's Leamington 2, Woking 1, our first win in 9. And hopefully it does start to propel us up the table a little bit, because wins have a massive impact on the league table when you're down in the bottom half. I mean, it's not pushed us up very far just yet, but crucially what it's done is we're now only 3 points outside of the playoffs, and there's now a 6-point gap between us and the relegation zone. Everything looking a lot healthier than it was 10 minutes ago. Now the key is we've got to go to Spennymoor and build on that, because there's been the odd victory here and there throughout the season so far. But other than that, we started well. A draw and 3 wins from the first 4 matches. We need a little run like that, and a little run like that, and we're back in the playoffs again. And we don't need to worry about any of the stuff I was just talking about. We'll be fine. Let's go and beat Spennymoor. So Emma Hayes lasted until October then. I mean, I don't think we even go to this interview. If you remember back in the I know I'm struggling a little bit here at Leamington at the moment, but we looked at the manager history of Walsall in the summer. They gave Emma Hayes 91 days. The previous manager, 174 days, 107 days, 161 days. They're getting worse. They're expecting promotion. They're down in 21st place. They're clearly not a good team. They had the opportunity to appoint me in the summer when I could have done some transfers and made a difference. There is no benefit to me going there now for what we already looked at as, I mean, it's just a £250 a week pay rise. I think I'm just not going to do the interview, because I think they had their chance to bring me in, get me on a long-term contract and build something, and they blew it. So Walsall, hope you get relegated. We've got so many players being called up for international duty. We will postpone the match, because then we can sneak in a friendly to try and get some morale back into this team. This might be the perfect thing that could happen. Club atmosphere has already gone back up to good. How is morale in general? Not disastrous, but if we're now missing those 2 games because of internationals, we've got a nice big gap between Spennymoor and Notts County. So if we slot in, I mean, we could potentially put Notts County are there. Why do we not have a game there? That's a bit odd, but we'll do a friendly here to try and get some morale and some team spirit back into the team. We'll pick one of our local teams, Coventry Copswood, and we'll get a little friendly in as well. Smashing. Right, this is the problem I was talking about around fitness. You can see how many players we've got who are just absolutely shattered. Williams, Johnson, Davidson, Magoma, Knowles, Petrovic still not fully fit. Even in the team, McFadden, Okoflex, Dixon Bonner, not fully fit. We need to get out of this playing constantly nonsense that we've been stuck in forever. I'm just going to get him up onto the bench. So we don't need a goalkeeper on the bench. But because of that, we've made a lot of changes just to try and get something resembling a fit team. So it's Marshall still in goal, McFadden, Colvin, Price and Rhodes coming in at right back. Norris on the left of midfield, McAneff, playing central midfield, which he is accomplished at playing and has played a few times in central midfield for us this season. You can see, I didn't play him as a central defender there, that's for sure. I mean, I played him as a midfielder left, as a central defender. There's some glitches in this game this year. There really is. But yeah, we have brought him on to play there a couple of times. So Dixon Bonner, of course, is primarily a central midfielder, even though we usually play him right back. And Occo Flex, returning from injury, coming in on the right-hand side. And Drucci, of course, having scored in the last game with that late winner, does get another start. Yes, I know Occo Flex is tired, but so is everybody else. 5 changes again. Never change a winning team unless they're all shattered because you're part-time and playing a high-tempo system and can't keep everybody fit, which is our situation, in which case you have to change a winning team. Spennymoor are 1 point above us, 4 places above us in 11th place, and we've got an early corner. It's McAneff to take. Looking for that near post, and 6'5" Shea Price is there, but rattles the crossbar. That would have been a nice little opportunity to open the scoring and start rolling towards a consecutive win, which would have been lovely. Norris with the free kick finds McKiernan. It's only his 4th goal of the season. Is it being given? The ref's waving his arms around. It's not been given. McKiernan apparently is offside. The FM22 curse of players being offside from free kicks continues. It's not quite as bad as the one we had last week, where we had about 6 players offside. That one was marginal. But I still maintain these players, it would take 1 training session to teach them not to be offside from free kicks. It happens too often. It needs fixing, and evidently hasn't been fixed in the update that came out recently. McAneff to McFadden, and now Colvin playing it all the way back to Marshall. I thought he was going to tee up a big one, but instead, actually, it's pretty decent distribution to McKiernan either way. He flicks it on to Andrucci, and ultimately it's ended up back with McFadden, but this time in the left-back position on the overlap, playing it back to Norris. And now McAneff. We've got a lot of players here who can hit a decent cross if someone just takes a gamble on it. And it was McFadden who did. And it's a lovely effort from McKiernan. But I don't know if it was crossbar or a save. Rhodes is pumping it back into the area. Andrucci can't get enough on it. And it's back with McFadden. Again, this is a good extended period of pressure from us. We really should be delivering a goal here. And we do through Ben Andrucci. The cross comes in from McFadden, who's been involved in everything. He's been playing very well on that left-hand side today. And Andrucci is there to tuck it home. I mean, he is our best goal scorer. I just wish he did it all the time. But 8 goals for the season now. That'll do nicely. We effectively swap places with Spennymoor as things stand. And this would leave us just 1 point behind Hartlepool in 7th place. Moving in the right direction if we can hold on. McAneff with another corner. Colvin is there, and he's had so many attempts in this episode, and finally one of them makes it past the goalkeeper. Near post corners will never die, boys and girls. McAneff with the corner, and there's Ryan Colvin, captain and team leader and, I mean, goal scorer right now. 2-0 to Leamington, away from home. Maybe the comeback is on, folks. We can afford to dream just for a moment. If that had got in, we would have stopped dreaming again and concentrated back in on the football. But at 2-0 up at half time, that is. I mean, that's what we've been deserving throughout this horrible run that we've been on. I wasn't exaggerating when I said we've been the better team for the majority of that run, and something like this was coming. All it needed was for me to turn the computer off overnight, restart the game the following morning, and what do you know, we get a new RNG, and all of a sudden we're doing the same thing we were doing yesterday that was resulting in horrible results, and it's turned around. I love the randomness of Football Manager at times. It absolutely ruins me. Right, we're going to bring Old Cock on because he's one of the few fit players that we've got. Occo Flex was never going to make it through the entire match, so Johnson can come on for him. And poor old McFadden, I mean, he wasn't fit to start with. He's had a fantastic game, but he is shattered as well. So Williams, his flexibility and ability to play anywhere across the back four, proving useful once again. An either-footed centre-back who can cover at full-back on either side. We need to make that boy a permanent signing. Even if he's never a regular starter, it's just really handy to have. I remember back in the old Championship Manager days when Jamie Carragher was just coming through at Liverpool and he was a defender, right, left, centre. It was a no-brainer signing. You'd bring in a young Jamie Carragher any top Premier League side because of that ability to cover the entire back four. It was just handy. Joe Gomez is probably a more recent example for those of you who aren't as old as me. We're always at Liverpool. And we just scored another goal, by the way. Alcock tucking away after. I think Andrucci's probably fouled there. But we don't need the penalty ref. It's fine. We'll take the goal. And at 3-0 up, I think we can safely say we're back. Back-to-back wins. Our next match is against Dorking, who are down in the relegation zone. If we can win that as well and then keep the momentum going with that friendly we've already got arranged, we could, by the next episode, be back up properly in a promotion race. I don't know. I haven't even looked. Dorking are losing 6-0 at home to Ebbsfleet right now. We play Dorking next. This is the ideal time to play them. Eastleigh are already on 42 points. They're 7 points clear of second place Port Vale. Any hope we had of automatic promotion is long gone. But I certainly, after today's performances and today's results, I am expecting the playoffs again this year. And I'm very glad I turned down Walsall. Maybe that'll be that. I mean, I don't know how much of that filters through to the players, but if they see me declining the opportunity to go manage in the Football League, maybe that gives them a little bit of a boost. They like the fact that I'm sticking around. We've just made it 4. Johnson with the finish. We're sharing the goals around as ever. I mean, we're still not having anyone getting a hold of it and just smashing a load of goals in. But I guess that's probably for the best. What I am a little bit nervous about is exactly what happened against Port Vale in the playoffs. I don't want to waste all our goals today. Ease off now, lads. 4's plenty. They're already dead. Let's save some for the next match, because what we don't want to do is smash this like 4 or 5-0 and then go and not be able to score again against practically already relegated Dorking, because we know we are quite challenged in front of goal at times. But that is a much more healthy league table than it was at the start of this episode. Progress, boys and girls. It's not over yet. I ain't getting sacked. Who said I was getting sacked? We're going to be fine. And we will be back as ever tomorrow. I'd like to think for an FA Cup first round game and then a league game somewhere near it. Obviously, we have to get through the 4th qualifying round first. We don't even know who we're playing in that yet. So we'll work through these bits and bobs off camera. It's not Dorking we play next. It's not Notts County. Dorking was one of the rearranged games, wasn't it? But hopefully we'll have an FA Cup first round tie in here somewhere. We can come back for that and one of these matches, and that'll be super. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.